How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. We are back at it again, back with Beckman. This is a video that was requested that I look at called Equal Opportunity Beatdowns. Puppies can get it too. Was Prince's correction too much or just right? Well, seeing, and I haven't even seen the correction, but apparently in Joel's mind, his dog can do no wrong. Now, straight off the bat, can puppies receive corrections? Do they? Is it necessary? Everything depends on the situation, but yes, I think it's good for a puppy to, receive, they get warning signs. If they miss those warning signs, like we see here, Prince has wide eyes, his mouth is closed, short lips, he seems very uncomfortable. And this little guy, adorable. I love bull terriers. Glad that he has his little tail. And he's coming over here, getting his space. We don't know how long he's been bothering him or whatnot, but there's a limit to, like with everything, a spectrum of a correction, okay? And I don't want a dog that is overpowerful to correct another dog that's, smaller and half their size. I don't care how tough they are or what breed they are or whatnot, okay? So if I have an equally sized dog with a good temperament, which means that, what I used Adonis for when I would use him for rehabilitating other dogs, and when I would use him for dogs that needed a little lesson in manners, just like Adonis received when he was young, Adonis knew how to be patient, and when they would still push him and push his buttons, then he would do the air snap, or sometimes he would go over and get him. If a dog was charging at him, he would wait for them to get up to him. They'd be running full speed at him. He would miss that little head and go and nip him right on the shoulder. So he never went for the face. He never drew blood. Never did any of that. And that was usually for really obnoxious, rude dogs. But I let it happen depending on the situation. I didn't just let him go out there and be crazy dog and go attacking everybody. So there's, you want your dog to learn to, or at least this is what I believe, is that dogs should learn how to give a correction appropriately, given the circumstances, and learn how to take said correction, again, under the same circumstances. So if Prince is going to nip at this puppy, if it's a nip and the dog says, well, okay, I get it. That's it. It's once and done. Correction, done, move on. We don't hold a grudge. We're not trying to take your head off. Likewise, if a dog can take it too seriously, and then they become fearful, we don't want that. And if this dog learns, never learns to give an appropriate correction after giving plenty of signals and time, to tell the other dog, hey, leave me alone. We use the correction as the last resort. We don't want this dog to just go immediately and take their head off at the first sign of stress. Correction should be like, I'm telling you, I guess apparently in the horsey world, I hear people say, please, pretty please, you better, you should have. So you get 3 chances and then it's like, you should have. But even then, a correction shouldn't be, it should never leave the animal traumatized by any means. So yeah, there's a time and a place for everything. I would rather, if a dog is going to give a correction, or if a dog is going to receive a correction, I would rather it be by another dog, because they know how to, do dogs. But again, everything depends.
Why did Prince correct this puppy, and does a puppy ever...
So that actually wasn't... Oh, okay. Now that's too much. The first part really wasn't bad, but the Prince doesn't know how to give a correction correctly, in my opinion. He went too far. The puppy he spun him around. The puppy was already on his side. Prince didn't actually put teeth on him, that was a perfectly fine correction in my opinion. But then he keeps going for the dog. He didn't give the dog a chance to move away. The dog's tail is tucking. This is not, and I think Joel is going to go through this in slow motion. But this is too far. This is exactly what I mean by when you make a dog a bully. So he's taking it way too far, and he's going for the throat and the head.
The toughest dogs in the world.
Okay, I don't believe anything he says about pound for pound toughest dogs in the world. I don't care. It doesn't matter if this is a bull terrier, an actual bull, or a Yorkie. Okay, it doesn't matter. Just because you're big and tough doesn't mean we can get away with the excuses of being bigger and tougher with you.
That correction that Prince gave this.
Oh, little baby.
Framed. I'm going to tell you exactly why Prince did that correction.
Because you raised him to be a bully. There. That's the video.
Is subtle.
I'm going to tell you what I see in that, and you can decide for yourself.
So, how does he look? He looks okay. He's not.
He
the
looks
worst
like a
dog in
very
the
friendly little baby.
world.
He doesn't
but
seem
we're
very
trying to
pushy. He
create
seems very unsure. He's a cutie pie.
really good citizens of the dog world. Dogs, tough bull terriers, tough pit bulls, tough cane corsos that can go out into the world and be good representatives of their breed. And these guys,
Yeah, the little puppy looked like he fell. Look, it doesn't help when you hear stuff. I think I'm hearing stuff. It might be Hermes. Hermes might be awake. But he doesn't help the image of dogs by saying tough bull terriers, tough this and that, tough pit bulls. You know, dude, they are a bull terrier. They're a Yorkie. They're an English bulldog. They're a Shiba Inu. They're whatever. You know, they are just a dog. They're a poodle, which is not, you know, French. Actually, I just learned recently that it's German, you know, but it doesn't matter. Is that Herms? Hi! Hello! Good morning! Were you sleeping in the bathroom? Good morning! Come, little Herms. Come make a debut. Come say hi, good boy. Oh. Mwah. I don't know if you can see him, but this is little Herms. But, you know, I mean, it's just a dog. I mean, a dog is a dog, not just a dog. But, you know, they are an individual. Yes, you know, a border collie is going to behave differently as a herding dog with high energy than a husky, or you know, or differently than a French bulldog or a mastiff. You know, each individual breed has their, you know, characteristics, but it doesn't mean that I've seen some tough Chihuahuas out there that are tougher and scarier than any Rottweiler I've worked with. So he's not really helping out by saying, you know, oh, it's a tough this and tough that, you know. So we're just gonna kind of skim through here and see how this little dog interacts with others. The main thing I want to see is how he
dogs. It doesn't
again,
cut any
dude,
time.
stop boasting this scenario that they're tough. So he's trying to paint the picture so you're not so afraid that a fully grown Doberman went after, and I'm going to say attacked, you know, like, I mean, overcorrected a bull terrier puppy, a puppy. You know, he's trying to set the picture up, paint the picture, set up the story like he always does, you know, so you don't find it to be as aggressive as it is, because he says all these fancy words that they're tough, they're tough, they're tough. He's trying to brainwash you already into thinking that it's okay. He's making excuses as to, you know, why he let this happen. He's just an idiot.
For than a bull terrier, so we need good citizens. And speaking of good citizens, I am going to try to create.
Okay, so this dog is, you know, a very good patient dog. They're not comfortable with this, you know, but they're not showing signs of aggression. The little puppy's just excited, you know, and being a bull terrier, you know, being a terrier, he's gonna push a little bit. I mean, being a young puppy, you know, they like, I feel like some dogs, like, you know, either terriers or higher energy dogs, or even, you know, bully type dogs, pit bulls or bulldogs or mastiffs and such, I feel like they do kind of push the envelope a little bit more. Very much like Shibas and the Spitz breed.
A little early to be sexual, 12 weeks old for a dog. Yes, it is. That's part of the deal too. Prince knows this dude's a little dominant, a little sexual.
Okay, so he likes to, again, throw the words out there, dominant, sexual. Well, I think this puppy's excited. A lot of times, I don't know if he humped or not, a lot of dogs will hump because they're excited, out of overexcitement. A lot of times, it's not even due to sexual. Most of the time, it's not even due to a sexual arousal. And him saying the dog is dominant, and this, look, dude, this puppy is not dominant. This puppy is excited, and they're friendly, and they're just looking around, and this collie here is giving him the side eye. I don't know if this dog has their tail cut off or not, but that's neither here nor there. But everybody wants to say there's a tough dog, they're dominant, this and that, so that they can excuse their lack of skills and lack of knowledge, even though they call themselves a dog trainer and they have a lot of followers. They don't actually know squat.
Was a mount. So that was the first thing Prince did not like. He's bitey. All puppies are bitey. Okay, he's gonna get a little dose of his own medicine here in a minute. But
so in this instance, then, if this dog were to correct the puppy and the puppy move away, that dog is the one that is dominant. But he's not, it's not like this whole behavioral trait. It's not just this, and this dog does have its tail, by the way, so I'm glad to see that. It's not just this all being domineering thing the way that humans are. The way humans think it should be. The way this dummy thinks it should be. This dummy tries to think he's dominant of everything because, I don't know. He's got mommy issues. I don't know.
Right, he is a normal puppy, except for we saw the what I'll call pre-mount, right? And in a
no, I'm not going to say even pre-mount. I mean, look how tall his tail is. He's a very, confident puppy. And could he learn to be aggressive and dominate others to get what he wants? Sure. Which is why I don't have a problem with, but that's not his whole personality being. He's just a puppy. He's a confident, happy, terrier, higher energy puppy.
Month, that's a little better mount. In 2 months, it's even a better mount. And in a month after that, when he's 6 months old, it's a full mount.
And it doesn't matter. He's not doing it to be dominant. He's just doing it because he's playing. He's excited. He maybe he wants the dog to chase him. He wants to wrestle. I don't know. I mean, right now, yeah, it looks like he may be making eye contact with this dog. And this could be seen as him showing domineering behavior or more assertive behavior. But again, it's not a behavioral thing. It just means that maybe he's a little too cocky. And yeah, he needs a little taste of his own medicine. But it's not the end of it. It doesn't excuse. Him moving away and doing a little playful thing, that tells me he's not trying to be pushy. He's not trying to be aggressive. He's just, missing the signals. He's a puppy. He doesn't read that stuff that well. And it doesn't mean that it's an excuse for us to go and be aggressive with him.
Does she like him? Yeah, she likes him. And
she's pushing him up. I don't think she necessarily likes him. I think she's doing that to avoid him. I really don't think she likes him.
And puppies are annoying.
So this dummy, I know, I don't like to call dogs dummies, but this dummy, Prince, comes over to correct her. Like, dude, you're missing the wrong one. If you're going to be correcting someone, correct him. But no, I mean, I say that like, I don't think any dog is dumb, but Beckman has raised him to go after the wrong thing. Prince is dominant. Prince is the one who is dominant, where he sees any interaction and he goes after it aggressively, and he's taking care of the wrong dog at this point.
He's over to make sure Pippa's okay.
Not really, no. He went to go stop her. I didn't see him as going to check in on her because she moved away from him. She was afraid of him. He wasn't going to say, hey, are you okay? Is this guy bothering you?
Pippa's going to give him a little dose of his own medicine right here, and I love to see it.
Okay, so now he starts nipping, and she says, hey, that's enough. And then he gets more of the whale eyes, and she's showing a little bit of that teeth, and she's like, dude, back off.
Boop, get out of here, little dude.
And he fell. Oh my goodness. And she moves away, and that's it. That was her correction. That wasn't even a very harsh correction. He just happened to fall. But you know what? He's going to learn from it. Okay, great.
Falls over like
a puppy.
Doesn't know what he's doing. And he's back because he's a puppy, and they're not very smart. And they don't think, and they bite, and they jump.
Good, she pushes him away. But that's why, her pushing him on the chest is what a lot of people do when a dog jumps on them. So he could see it as play, not so much of a correction. When the dog uses the teeth, then he says, ouch, that hurts. Okay, I don't want to mess with you. Not that people need to be aggressive like a dog.
On that one, nor did he fall over on that one. Gets a little correction from the trainer. I'm in the office.
From the train. Okay, so you have a random person coming and you're interfering. So now he's going to listen to the person, which didn't even really act as a correction, more of a distraction if anything. He's going to be listening to the person maybe, but not the dog. That doesn't translate to the dog. I mean, I would have separated them anyway because I don't want him to learn to push a dog to their limit.
I'm talking to the owners and we're letting him play. So,
and again, this trainer has a cut. What happened?
That you saw at the beginning, and we're going to break down in a minute. It does not, and I'm going to show you why when we start.
Okay, I do like what they're doing here. I mean, I guess okay. Let me break down what I think they're doing. They're trying to redirect his attention. What I like about it is the idea of redirecting his attention onto even something like a rock. A lot of times I will do that if I'm trying to teach a dog to leave it. If I'm trying to, build confidence in a dog, like, hey, let's move a little bit further over here. I don't like, I wouldn't suggest holding them by the collar because that's correcting. I wouldn't suggest dragging them over there by the collar. That can be, correction. I would have them on a harness dragging a leash. And then if I needed to, I could separate both dogs. Both dogs would be on a leash dragging, or on a harness, whatever. A it looks like they're trying to use, if they really wanted to get your dog's attention, then I would have actual food, like actually use a piece of treat or the dog's kibble, whatever they find to be most rewarding. But otherwise, then I would take a toy and toss it. If you're worried about the dogs fighting, then you should really be working with your dogs, and only working with dogs that you know and trust. So I see the idea that she's, like, hey, look at this rock. I'm fine with that. If he's not into it, and I wouldn't be shoving it in his face. I'd rather use food than an outside distraction.
How perfect that correction was. Do I think Prince is right?
So good, very good. So it did work. She threw unless he just was more interested in Prince. I like that I give her credit for trying to redirect the dog and his attention. I still think from that she's a better trainer than Beckman and everybody here. If she's a trainer, then great. But she might just be the owner of this cute little collie. But he looks like, so he's over threshold. He's not going to want to go for the rock. Of course, he's not going to want to go for the rock. I don't know if they tried food or not. If he doesn't go for the food, he's certainly not going to go for the rock. Could also teach him that if he does go after it to play with it, that he can chew and eat on rocks. But I think he was distracted by Prince over here.
A lot of the time.
He sniffs.
So he gets redirected.
Good little baby.
That's one thing you can do when dogs are getting nippy with you or your other dog is just something called redirection.
Mm-hmm.
So you just...
Good, excellent.
Brain. It's actually very important. Probably more important than corrections.
You don't need to worry about corrections. Okay, and here he is. He comes in pushing his way through. This dog doesn't care, but he's coming in here pushing his weight around, sniffing, now kind of trying to push the puppy out of the way. It's not the end of the world, but that's another, sign of how he's made Prince just this bully that, like, hey, if a dog is sniffing something, of course, other dogs are going to go and be interested in it. But Prince just comes in here, bulldozes his way through, shoves the other dogs out of the way so he can, sniff it. In this moment, you can say, yes, he took advantage of this resource, whatever it is. It doesn't mean it has to happen. Just because it happens in nature, dogs are not natural. This is from thousands and thousands of years of humans selectively breeding and dumbing down what were their ancestors. Dogs are not natural.
Do this instead of biting at your brother. Here's a squeaky. Here's a
exactly. That's the one good bit of advice that I would say that Beckman actually gives is redirection. Why he doesn't do it more, I don't know.
Pros and cons. Do that instead. Now, my trainer is going to interject at this point in a minute because I think she knows maybe Prince is going to be a little annoyed and she just doesn't want him to correct.
Well, no, they're both sniffing and he wants to pee on top of everything because he pees on everything and this puppy's just interested. So, the puppy could learn a good or a bad thing. That's the thing that happens when you use dogs to teach other dogs is that Prince could be teaching this puppy to be more aggressive versus teaching him, hey, I've gave you plenty of time. I told you enough and you get it and then we move on. But Prince wants to go pee on everything, and
she's going to interject.
So this little puppy gets out of there, shakes off, whether it's because he's relieving stress or he's switching from hindbrain to front brain. Hindbrain being more reactive, I see a squirrel, I want to chase it. To front brain, I'm focusing more on different things. Or he could have just been itchy from rubbing in the bush.
He's in the middle of things right now.
But he's sniffing on Prince.
He's a good dog. He's.
This is not like a sexual thing. He just, the Prince is not neutered, and dogs have a lot of different smells, and his nose is incredibly strong compared to any human nose, so of course he's going to be smelling all over the business end of any other dog. He's getting good information from that.
As you can see right there. What's the problem with being sexual?
That's not him being sexual. Any dog would come. Adonis might go over. I mean, he really didn't care to sniff another dog's butt or anything. He didn't like other dogs sniffing him, but that's very natural because to just sniff. Right now, he's sniffing Prince's balls. He's probably too short to sniff his butt, but either way, he's getting regular information from that. He's learning, testosterone, the health of the dog, maybe the age of the dog, or, whatever. This does not have to be sexual. He's not doing this, in my opinion, to be sexual. Everybody over-sexualizes everything. He's being a dog. He's smelling, all sorts of pheromones and such from a dog.
When you're young, it's only going to get worse.
He bumped his cute little head on his hawk there.
Soon,
that was just cute.
To be even more into the genitals soon, so
not necessarily. Okay, so I don't like how aggressive she was. She didn't need to go in there and grab him and push him away. That was not necessary.
Like she's doing, like my trainer did, You got to
Okay,
redirect
so she is a
him. You
trainer.
got to not let him rehearse the behavior.
There was nothing wrong with that. He was sniffing along with Prince. If you wanted him to get out of there, call Prince away. I mean, he's going to follow him, but I thought that was perfectly fine. That was actually socializing. That was them, learning to coexist around each other. He was learning to be a dog in a non-aggressive way. Prince was just interested in sniffing. If Prince is bothered that much by a dog sniffing nearby, you need to work on Prince.
And you got to know that you might have a dog who is going to do, and then he runs into Prince's rear end right there.
Okay, so this is a time when, yes, he maybe he's never been around another dog with testicles. I don't know. He's interested. He says, oh, this smells, interesting, and I want to follow you. It seems like he thinks he's Prince's little buddy. He's his shadow. He's going to learn as a male dog. He's going to learn a lot of things from not only other adult dogs, but another male dog. I believe this guy is a little male. But either way, this would be the time when I would take him and separate him so Prince can get some water. He doesn't have to have his little mini-me with him following him everywhere. And we can teach him, redirect him. If you're going to redirect him, do it now. Put him behind a little fenced area in a little pen or on a leash. Let Prince do his thing, and then you can release them again.
I don't know if Prince loved that.
I don't think he does. I think he's probably pretty uncomfortable.
Of Prince, and we're leading up to the correction in a minute. But
Gets
Prince
distracted by something over here.
Yeah, you're a bit much, and Prince did not.
Good job, baby. So that would be a moment when you want to reward the baby, and of course Prince for being patient, and reward the little baby for moving away from Prince. You get so much further with honey than you do vinegar.
The guy is being a puppy, so here it is. Prince corrected him.
So he's following. Prince is moving away, trying to ignore him.
Okay, right there.
So here we see he gets a lot more stiff. The puppy's kind of leaning away. We start to see his lip kind of come down, like he's gonna start showing maybe his teeth, lifting his lips or his cowls. This is the time when he's, giving him a warning, like, dude, you're bothering me.
There.
And dogs talk very, very quickly, in milliseconds, with each other. So if this guy, in the horse world, the only thing quicker than a horse kick is a horse's reaction to get away from the kick. So maybe in the dog world, I would have to imagine the only thing quicker than a dog's bite or correction is a dog's reaction to that.
Watch his back, left leg, and right leg. This is a mark, or in a few months is going to be right there. He thinks about marking.
No, he doesn't. What are you talking about?
Mark, or in a few months is going to be right there.
No, he doesn't.
Thinks about marking.
No, he doesn't. What is wrong with you? He's avoiding his head. You really think he's not going to try and mark on Prince? You're a flipping idiot if you think that. Seriously, this dog is not anywhere near thinking about... He doesn't even know to lift his leg at this age. I bet this puppy still squats down, nothing wrong with that, to pee. A lot of male dogs do, unless they see an older male lifting their leg to pee. Like this, again, nothing wrong with Prince, but just this dummy who allows his dog to piss on everything. This puppy is not trying to mark.
But he doesn't know how to do it. It's like the hump. But he wants to mark.
No, he doesn't. You're an absolute idiot. He moved away because he wanted to see what this business end was doing. God, you're...
Look at Prince. Prince knows that this guy was thinking about marking this.
No, he doesn't. He's trying to avoid the puppy. He's also trying to be good so you don't get on his case. He seems like he's just a very confused dog. Poor Prince, I feel bad for Prince. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, but still, doesn't excuse his behavior. This puppy was not going to try and mark on him. No, it wasn't in his mind. He didn't read his mind.
About it, as he shouldn't be. So
he kept bugging him, bug, and then Prince said, you know what, dude, leave me alone. And finally he said, I've had enough. So
here's the correction.
Let's go back and look at this in slow motion to see how he gets on the ground. Oopsie doopsies. Wrong thing. So he's just there sniffing. He goes back into sniff, and Prince says, I've had enough. So he actually put his paw on the baby on the back. Wait. So we're going to go to quarter. And you're going to see he's going to put his paw on the puppy, which flips him over. Still hasn't put teeth on him. And he ends up sliding the puppy, or the puppy tries to get away. Sliding away. And then he goes for the back of the neck, but the puppy dodges it. And then he continues to make contact. That's where the first part I would have been fine with. Because he tells the puppy, he doesn't give the puppy's now got the idea. He's trying to get away from him. But Prince is chasing him to make contact. That's a dangerous thing for your dog to learn and to be reinforced for, because that's no longer correction. That's overcorrecting. That can be dangerous, where he's just going into attack mode, where he has to make contact, he or she, whomever the dog is, whatever the dog is, whoever's dog it is, that they have to make contact with their teeth. That's beyond the correction. He could have snapped and this little puppy would have gotten the idea. But he's following, tail tuck, and he has to keep getting him on the face. It looks like he made contact. He's going for his jaw. He's spinning this puppy around. Continue. Still mouth biting. This is way too much and way too long of a correction. Again, he has to keep going and making... I'm saying that it seems like this is Prince. Prince is thinking that he has to make contact with this dog in order to relieve that stress. I don't know. That was way too long, way too much. And you're going to make this... I don't know if somebody called him off. I hope they did, but we'll go back and play it regularly. But now this puppy has learned that this is scary. So he may give a correction just like Prince did, because they learn everything that they experience. So let's see what Beckman has to say here.
Not about it as he shouldn't be. So here's the.
So that would have been fine. He keeps going. Way too long.
Pretty hard. And then
I watched
it, and I was like, that was nothing.
No, it certainly was way too much. This dog tucked his tail and he ran away. And now he's going to learn to avoid dogs, and that dogs might be scary. That was way too much of a correction. This is muted, so we didn't hear if the puppy yelped. We don't know if somebody called Prince away. It looked like he might have been called away by the way he looks in this direction. That was just absolutely unnecessary. Way too much.
Almost nothing.
No, it's not almost nothing.
Bad.
It is bad.
He just doesn't.
That was enough. He should have left there. I'm glad he didn't use his teeth, but the puppy avoided, and him being dominant, he has to, and in the actual essence of being dominant, that like, no, I have to make sure that you fully submit, blah, 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 blah. It's just, it's too much and it's dangerous, and it's...
Tries to do the dog mommy thing of having his mouth over the other dog's mouth right here.
Not the dog mommy thing. It's called a mouth bite, and any older, generally family member of a dog, older dog, will go over and do that, where they put their mouth over the other mouth, the mouth of a younger, more, adolescent dog as a correction, but they're not looking like this. Good grief.
Dog stuff. All the guy did is roll around on the ground. Prince just rolled him around in a circle, essentially. But
it went on for way too long.
Dog learned that there are bigger and stronger dogs out there.
This dog learned to fear dogs that are bigger than him. So how do you think, as a bull terrier, this big, tough, strong breed, which is true, they are, but how do you think that's going to manifest? It could manifest in a way where he's respectful, or more likely he's going to become more aggressive. That's why I never had, Adonis never did any of this when I was training with dogs who needed a little lesson. He would just give a snap. He knew how to be a dog. He knew how to just like, hey, I told you to back off. He would nip him once, and then that was it. And then he would go on his way, and I would, of course, be there to separate the dogs, but when we worked with actual aggressive dogs, he didn't care about them. Adonis would just sit there like bored. This is not, I do not recommend this.
Or pre-mount. I just coined that term live during this video.
Okay, yeah, more. Look at this. This dog, this is not what you want. You don't want this tail tucking, especially for this guy whose tail was really high and a lot of energy. It takes a lot to make a dog tuck their tail. So he went from being a confident dog, maybe a little too confident, maybe a little too cocky. I'd say he's just a confident, happy dog, to now a fearful dog. And you don't want that, especially in a power breed. It was just...
Pre-mark, coined that term too.
Of course, he has to... The dog was not going to pre-mark, and he has to, toot his own horn and blah, 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 pat himself on the back, tell him he's great, give himself an A+. Okay, whatever. I think you're an idiot. And I think you're just, spewing absolute nonsense. But if you want to coin that term, go ahead. Just absolutely unnecessary. So I'm going to end that video here. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you so much, everybody, all my patrons, and just, my viewers, everybody, for watching and subscribing, and for all the kind words. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. Let me know what you think of the video. Until next time, say hello to your little critters. Say how do you do for me. Give them some kind of loving. And until then, practice peace, patience, and positivity.